Millions of people have lost weight with personalized plans from Noom. Like Evan, who can't stand salads and still lost 50 pounds.
Salads generally for most people are the easy button, right? For me, that wasn't an option. I never really was a salad guy. That's just not who I am. But Noom worked for me.
Get your personalized plan today at Noom.com. Real Noom user compensated to provide their story. In 4 weeks, the typical Noom user can expect to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. Individual results may vary.
We don't care if we win or lose or draw. It's all the same to us. 'Cause for all
Football, in particular grassroots football, what is the reality? How important is it? Funded by the FA, the Premier League and the government, what is the effect on these teams? In 2022, the government announced it would invest $230 million into grassroots football. How much, if any, of this has filtered down to the clubs that really need this? Paul Collins caught up with Hayley Dorris from the 3Cs in Birmingham to give us the lowdown on what it's really like.
Your hearts go, whoa, we don't care if we win or lose or draw. It's all the same to us. 'Cause for all we know that there's gonna be a show and the good old 3Cs will be there. So follow 'em up, that's the way to win the cup.
Good evening, young lady.
Hey, good evening, Paul.
And welcome all to a chapter of my life. I'm joined today by Hayley Dorris, although her nickname's Moggins, she's a DJ.
Yeah.
So, firstly, Hayley, you're on here to talk about 3Cs, which are the most romantic junior kids football team in Chelmsley Wood. Were you born in Chelmsley Wood, by the way?
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Marston Green Hospital.
Oh, okay, well, I was born, I think I might have been born in Marston Green Hospital as well, if I'm honest. Many, many years before you, but I was brought up in Kingshurst. So first, before we get into the 3Cs, let's talk about Hayley Dorris and how you got into football and how you got into your role being the supremo at 3Cs.
Yeah, so I've always been, as a young girl, I love football. Dad took me down the blues, that kind of stuff. But obviously I was born in 83, so like late 80s, early 90s, there weren't much around for girls who wanted to play football. It was still the stigma, which has changed massively now over the years. And when I was 16, because I enjoyed football, Paul Drinkwater, the great Dinky, he approached me and he went, Hayley, the 3Cs are putting on a level 2 coaching course for all the managers, but we need more people to do it. It has to be full. I was like, yeah, not a problem. I'll jump on that. So for one evening a week for about 8 to 10 weeks, I went at the back of St Anne's School and done the coaching course and passed it along with all the other managers, which was great. And then shortly after I passed, they come to me because that was at a time, Paul, I don't know whether you remember, when we went to 7-a-side. So it went from 11-a-side down to 7-a-side. So it was sort of like 1998 time this was. And they said, Hayley, we've got a team. Our under-7s have now got to get to 7-a-side, but obviously we've got 16 kids because we had an 11-a-side squad. Yeah. Will you come and help coach the B team? We've got a manager, but we just need a coach. And because we give you your coaching badges, would you do it? And I was 16 at the time, and I said, yeah, not a problem. So we spent all the summer getting ready. And then on the first game of the season, because I was 16, I couldn't drive. So my mum had to go and drop my brother to his game because he was in the A team, and then drop me to my game. I got a phone call from the manager saying, I'm actually not going to manage. I'm dropping out. So there was me, 16-year-old me, left with this little squad of 10 players. And I just done it, Paul. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what you do. So I carried on with that team. I got an assistant in, one of the dads, to help me. And I carried that team through from under 8 through to under 16s. I mean, they're all in their early 30s now. And then I had my own son while we was in the last year of playing with that team. So I took a little break. It was only like 5 years, because then Josh wanted to play football and his team was 3Cs. And I said, listen, I just want to be a mum. I want to be that mum on the sideline that doesn't have to worry about other people's children. I want to, you know. And Dave come to me after the first season and he went, Hayley, I can't manage this team. And if somebody doesn't take over, I'm going to fold it. Mm-hmm. So then I stepped in for my son's team. And I took them from under 8s then all the way through to under 16s. We lost. Mm-hmm. We finished 2 years ago, and it was a fairy tale finish for myself, to be honest, because I'd won some leagues over the years with the boys and that, and I'd never won like an Open Cup or a League Cup or anything. Yeah. And we were playing top of the league, who we'd lost 7-0 and 5-0 in our home and away game, and we were bottom of the league, and I only had 12 players because you know what morale's like at that age when they're losing. And we went and won the Open Cup, Paul, on my last game ever managing, 3-1. So, and it was just a great way to bow out. And then Bob at the time, Bob Elliott, the chairman, he was stepping down because obviously Bob's like, I think he's early 80s. I don't want to be.
Say, he's got to be around that, yeah.
His 80s. And he said, Hayley, I've got to step down. Like, I can't do it anymore. And I said, you know what? It's perfect timing. The lads are finishing. And I'll take over from you. I just need to obviously sponge all your knowledge, but not to worry. We'll keep it going. And now I'm chairman, chair lady, chairperson, whatever is politically correct. But so I don't have to rush around with chaining balls and bibs like the guys do that every week. I can do a lot of my stuff on the phone and on the email. But yeah, very much involved, very much. Has visions for the club. Yeah, so that's basically me and 3Cs. I'm 41 this month, so they've been in my life for a hell of a long time.
We don't do PC over Chelmsley Wood, or North Solihull, as the Sililians like to call us. Let's go back in time to when 3Cs were formed and why. 1971, I believe, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So we always call Arthur Farrell our great founder, but he was actually one of them. There was a group of them, him and a few of his friends. And when we spoke to Arthur, he always said that in Ireland as a child, he wasn't allowed to play football. There was no teams as such. So obviously he come over to Chelmsley and he had his own children. And in 1971, he decided to create the club to be able to give that opportunity to the children of Chelmsley Wood that he didn't have in Ireland. And how grateful we are that he did create our great club. And it's still giving children opportunity to this day, bless him.
Now, the 3Cs, it was Catholic Community Centre. Is it still that, or is it just 3Cs? I've noticed recently it seems to be the 3 figure, then the C's. But back when I used to play against them in the old Castle Vale Boys League, it was C, 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 and then the comma and the S. Is it still the same?
Yeah. So literally, I always put CCC. I do.
Yeah,
Catholic Community Centre. On our recent tournament, we have put the 3 and the C's, and that's purely to fit it all on, to fit all the information we need on, because a lot of people do say it as in the number 3 C's, but it is CCC, like you say, Paul.
Or for lots of us, we've always called them the C's.
The C's, yeah, definitely.
Where do 3Cs run out of now, and did they not move out of Chelmsley for some time and have been brought back?
Yeah, so I think that was the problem we had, Paul, is that we was this massive club. I think the record number of teams we ever had at one time was 17 teams. And that was back when it was just boys teams as well. That was no girls teams. And we used to play out of St Anne's School and Archbishop Grimshaw School back then, which is now John Henry Newman. And we played out of them 2 schools. But obviously then St Anne's got a brand new building, didn't it? It was demolished and a brand new building, and they didn't really put much of a grass pitch on it as such. So everybody moved to Grimshaw. And then the decision was made. I mean, this was in the time when I'd just finished with Josh's NT, my first team, and I was obviously in my motherhood days. to go to Penn's Lane in Sutton because there was a ground there that they were willing to give us for free.
Yeah.
And that was really our downfall. If we was to look back at it honestly, moving out of Chelmsley Wood allowed other clubs to pop up and grow on our turf in Chelmsley Wood, basically. So like Arden Forest, for instance, when in the early days of Arden, when I used to manage, they were over Solihull Way.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You know, and it was like, back in the day, it was just 3Cs. Kingshurst was just starting, it wasn't massive. And Marston Green and Chelmsley Town was an entity then. So, but now you've sort of got Arden Forest, you've got SJB, you've got Solihull Sporting, you've got a lot of North Solihull, you've got a lot of clubs that now have popped up, and obviously because we moved away, our bread and butter, Chelmsley Wood and surrounding area kids went to them clubs. You know, we wasn't seen as a Chelmsley Wood club anymore. So when the ground was the ground obviously was owned by I'm not too sure, I think it's the steel company up by Lee Village. It was owned by that company there. They sort of said that's the one, that's the one. That I think they sold it to either Sutton United or Sutton, one of the Sutton. They sold that land to them, and they've now built AstroTurfs on that. But that meant we had to come back, and obviously we're catching up to everyone now. Do you know what I mean? So because of that.
So how many teams have you got? And you run it out of Archbishop. It's Newman, isn't it? It used to be Archbishop Grimshaw's in the olden days. Is that pretty much now where the 3C's home is, Archbishop Newman's?
Yes, yeah. So when I come to be chair lady 2 years ago, Paul, we had 4 teams.
Yeah.
We was down to 4. And I have to say, yes, in hindsight, moving to Sutton was a bad thing and everything like that. But once we come back, Bob Elliott did a sterling job in keeping that club together, because although it was only 4 teams, he could have quite easily have chucked in the towel and said, you know what, it's not worth it, and 3Cs would have just been gone. But Bob, bless him, he carried it on. And this season now, we are up to 16 teams now this season, boys and girls. We're all running out of John Henry Newman School, which is great, because that was the school that all of our kids everybody went to Grimshaw, everybody, that kind of stuff. So it's nice to be back on Chelmsley. It's nice to be able to call somewhere home. I'm hoping in the future we can look at getting our own ground as such, or a little bit of land that we can call home. But yeah, we're just looking forward to the new season with our 16 teams.
When you're looking at a place that you can call home, I mean, that's going to cost an awful lot of money. I know that Marston Green at Gorsey Farm, I believe they're still there, bought that. There is some land around the that green belt, isn't there, around the NEC, around our area, around the airport, coming into Chelmsley Wood, etc. But are the other Chelmsley Town, you alluded to them, are they still going?
So they don't really go as a Saturday team, but they've got a Chelmsley Town Saturday team that don't play at Chelmsley Town. They play at Coastal on the Astro. So really, Chelmsley Town is just pitches that he's rented out to other clubs, and it's a bar as such.
You're just breaking up a bit, Hayley.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're just breaking up a little bit there when we was talking about Chelmsley Town.
Yeah, so it's literally their Saturday team play as Chelmsley Town, but they play at Coastal. They don't play at the pitches at Chelmsley Town. So literally Chelmsley Town, as a clubhouse and pitches, rent out their pitches to other clubs.
Got ya.
So they don't necessarily have any grassroots teams anymore.
Yeah, got ya. Running a team is a labour of love, and it really is very difficult at times. running 16 teams has lots and lots of added additional problems. But how big do you see 3Cs going, and what kind of income streams do you have? Because it doesn't run on fresh air. Kids have to pay subs, you've got merchandise, etc., etc. Tell us about that side, because again, the pitches, back in our day, it always cost a few quid to hire the pitches out. I'm guessing now it's an astronomical amount to hire pitches out. So briefly talk to me about the fundamentalists of the finances.
Yeah, so basically, parents do pay subs as they've always done.
Yeah.
And then as a club, we use opportunity. So obviously presentation night, Christmas parties, that kind of stuff to sort of boost the club's pot as such. And then we subsidise some of that.
Yeah.
And help out. But we run very differently as a club, we do. I know a lot of clubs around do, so they take all the money off the parents and it goes into the main club, and then the managers will come and say, listen, I need this, I need that, and the club will buy it for them.
Yep.
We don't do that. So we have our managers run their own pot, so they set the subs, and then we as a club set like a monthly fee that the team have to pay us, and that will cover pitches, affiliation, insurance, all of that kind of stuff that goes on in the background. And then the managers have their own kitty, so whatever they save up to, because at the end of the day, it is the parents' money.
Yeah.
It's not our money. It's the players and the parents. So, and it's all transparent and visible in bank accounts in the 3C's name. And it's just basically then so that, I used to take my lads for a Nando's every Christmas. That was the way I spent the money. But yeah, as a club, we try and make it as cheap as possible. But like you say, with costs these days, it's not a cheap game anymore. It's not a jumpers for goalposts kind of thing. Every parent wants their kid to play on AstroTurf. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
That kind of stuff. So it is getting more expensive. But as a club, we do try our hardest to try and keep that cost from not going back down to the parents as such, if you get what I mean, Paul.
And in the winter time, do you still go inside? I'm going to call it Grimshaw's because that's where
Yeah.
we used to go. Inside Grimshaw's and use a sports hall, because it is a great sports hall in there.
We use the Astro now because,
You don't
believe
use
it
the
or
school,
not,
yeah.
the sports hall is more expensive
Right, okay.
than an AstroTurf. It's crazy. So our mini kickers, for instance, so we do our mini kickers on a Saturday morning. In the winter, we do go into the sports hall because it's still too cold for them to do on an Astro.
Sure.
You're talking 3 or 4 year olds, aren't you? So,
Is
we
that
go
how
into
young
the
you have
sports
them
hall.
these days?
Yeah. So we start at 3 and 4. Yeah, just getting them into football. But it's £40 for an hour for the sports hall, whereas the AstroTurf is 25 for a quarter. So there's a big difference there. So the sports hall, I don't know why, but it just costs more, and I don't understand why.
Do they still do a card at the 3Cs? I know that they used to, and all the managers used to give out on the training session the football scores for the weekend, and you'd
The
fill them
fixed
all in.
odds. Yeah,
The
fixed
fixed
odds.
odds, yeah. Them.
No,
Yeah.
no, we don't. Oh, you know what, Paul? It gives me PTSD, that does, because the amount of I've had to fill out over the years just to hand in to Derek, because that was instead of the club's monthly fee.
Yeah,
You'd hand in your 25 fixed odds a week, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And if you couldn't sell them, you'd top it up out of your subs, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So I used to have to fill out loads of fixed odds, but yeah, no, we don't do that anymore. And I think purely it would be time wise. I don't know how Derek done it back in the day, checking hundreds of fixed odds every week to see if we've got a winner. So
And we used to, years ago when I was a kid, they used to have a tote, and you used to pick numbers and you could have the numbers reversed, etc. I mean, I don't particularly know how it ran. I was about 10 when I started playing football
Yeah.
at Marston Green. But I remember my dad and, all the people, the managers that used to run the various teams, they used to have a night where they'd go and they'd do a tote night and they'd put all the money in there. I mean, things do change. And I think it's great that individual managers have got their own pot now that they can run their team. I remember when I ran a team, I got into a bit of hot water. David Gold, bless him, gave me a few quid, and the rest of the club wasn't too enamoured with it. But that's the way it goes. But
It is.
five-a-sides are another great way of raising revenue. I'm guessing that there's an awful lot of teams now that are doing the five-a-side. But 3Cs are doing one, aren't they, this year?
Yeah, we've got it this weekend, Paul.
Yeah.
So our first one, really, the last one we done was at Penn's Lane, and obviously that was a hell of a long time ago. But no, we're working in conjunction with John Henry Newman. They've set up a charity called the St John Henry Newman Charity, and we're working together, really. So we're making money out of the teams paying to come and stuff, but then we're going to be putting on like stuff for people to do while they're there, and hopefully the school's charity can raise a bit of money, and that money's going to go towards, like, because our players are there, so it's literally going to help our players as well as students. But like Matt, he's like the glue between 3Cs and the school. He's like their community officer. He said like he had a kid come who lost a parent, and trying to get in some bereavement counselling was like running through treacle.
Yeah.
And he said he wanted to create this charity, so literally he could just go, yeah, there's the money, we can pay for that kind of stuff. And I felt that was something that we needed to get involved in, because like I say, a lot of our children go to that school, so we're sort of working together with him. The club will make a lot of money and the charity will make lots of money, so everyone's happy, and everybody gets something out of it.
Because again, the football club is the heart of the community, and I keep on hearing these Premier League people, and that's been kind to them, talking about grassroots. Now the money filters down, but the real grassroots, the likes of yourselves at 3Cs, you don't get any money, I'm guessing, that filters down to your football club. So when they say it filters down to the grassroots, it doesn't. I'm also guessing that the Central Warwicks, is that the league that you play in these days, doesn't get much or any money from these professional football clubs that are absolutely loaded as well?
No, I don't think any of us do, to be honest, Paul, and that's why the league have to charge as much as they do.
Yeah.
I mean, the girls' side's even worse, Paul. Like, we pay £190 a team for the boys, but the girls go up to £200 a team.
Why?
Sort of like, exactly, that was our question. It's a bit of you're trying to make equality, but you're not making equality by charging a different price. Why have girls got to pay more? And these are the battles that we're facing at the moment, is that we're finding a lot of stuff is just, it's not right, and it's not done right either, and the children are not at the heart of some of these decisions either.
Now, you've had quite a few former players that have gone on and played the professional game. When you've took two teams up to the age of 16, what happens then? Where do the boys go, and the girls as well these days? Have you got any affiliation with some of the floodlit football clubs locally, say for instance Coleshill, or I know Solihull Moors are only down the road as well?
No, it is something we're looking at, Paul. I mean, at least now you can go to under-18s if you want to.
Got you.
They do an under-18s league, but then as a club, we're not really interested in going further than that, because it does bring on its own problems. But we are lucky in the fact that we are in a football mad area, like I say.
Tell me about it.
Solihull Sporting, who are our other partners at John Henry Newman, they have got a very big setup regarding the floodlit, under 21s, that kind of stuff, and the men's team. We've also got the Trooper, who are the best Sunday League team.
My next question, that was.
They won the FA Vars, so they're the best Sunday League team in the country after winning the FA Vars. Chelmsley Town Saturday team. So we have got options for our players, and that's what I wanted to work with, like the men's side of it especially, to sort of make a pathway there for them.
Absolutely.
So if they want to, the options there, if you get what I mean.
I think that when people talk about hotbeds, I don't really think that they understand how big Chelmsley Wood is. I don't think they realise how many kids that are natural born footballers that come from Chelmsley Wood. And I think it's just a massive untapped area, really, of just so many brilliant kids it's almost like, I mean, we have got our own, and I say we because Kingshurst, Chelmsley Wood's the same area. We've got our own town centre. It's almost like its own little town, isn't it? Chelmsley,
It is.
literally.
Yeah, it is. That's it. And I know the 3Cs are a massive part of that as well. Like when you think Chelmsley Wood and you think football, 3Cs is probably the one that pops up. I mean, I've got a disabled son, Bobby, and Blues got in touch with him because we went viral with a video that we posted in his walker. And they said, can the gaffer and a player come and see you? And I went, yeah, not a problem. So lo and behold, they send Troy, my mate.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so Troy knocks on my door and he goes, all right, hi, and he gives me a big love and he's asking about how the seas are and stuff. And then John Eustace comes in and we're talking about Bobby because that's the main reason why they're there. And then Troy goes, hi, how's it going at the seas? So I'm telling him, and John Eustace goes, I played against them when I was younger. And Troy went, and we used to have right ruckers with them. They were a right hard side. And Troy went, you probably played against me, Gaffer, to be honest, because I played at the 3Cs. And that's what we get. We get so many new players that come and go. My dad played for 3Cs. My granddad played for 3Cs. My uncle, it's such a
If you're looking for plump lips that last, you need to know about Juvederm lip fillers. With Juvederm Volbella XC and Juvederm Ultra XC, your lip look, whether it's subtle or bold, can last up to 1 full year with optimal treatment and no additional maintenance. Find a licensed specialist and see if it's right for you at Juvederm.com today. That's JUVEDERM.com. Add fullness to lips in adults over 21 with Juvederm Volbella XC or Juvederm Ultra XC. Do not use if you have severe allergies or a history of severe allergic reactions, or if you're allergic to lidocaine or the proteins used in Juvederm. Tell your doctor if you have a history of scarring or taking medicines that decrease the body's immune response or that can prolong bleeding. Common side effects include injection site redness, swelling, pain, tenderness, firmness, lumps, bumps, bruising, discoloration, or itching. As with all fillers, there's a rare risk of unintentional injection into a blood vessel, which can cause vision abnormalities, blindness, stroke, temporary scabs, or scarring. For full, important safety information, visit Juvederm.com.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
It's so embedded into Chelmsley Wood that you can't get away from it. There's people popping up everywhere that have had some involvement within the club, which is great. I love it.
Absolutely. And Dina, he was the same age group as my oldest lad. Mickey Galley's team.
Yeah, bless his heart. Mickey Gall's no longer with us, is he? One of the best managers to ever grace the 3Cs, I think.
Absolutely. And Galley used to play Troy at right back. I don't know whether that was whenever I used to go and run the ruler over him, and he didn't want me to see that Deanie was playing centre forward, so he played him at right back. I don't know. But again, Troy's made a great career, and it started there at the 3Cs. Lee Carsley, another player that played at 3Cs. And I think maybe the first player that turned pro was a young lad named Robert Kelly. I used to play against Bobby when we were kids. What other players off the top of your head have gone on to greater things from the Seas?
Oh, I think you've mentioned them big two because Carsley, bless him, he's very much involved with us at the moment.
Good.
So what we do is every summer we have a sign. Last season I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a signing on day. Not many children get to sign and sit at a table with the parents and pretend to sign for a pro club. They'll never see it. There's a huge percentage of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I said, and I don't want that for my my kids in my club. I want them to make them feel like they're that special to us. So we set up a signing on day. So we decorated a table with the banner, balloons, green and white everywhere. So the players would come in, sit with a committee member, show their passports or their birth certificates, and we'd sign them. They'd sign a code of conduct. Then they'd go and have a photograph at this table. And at this table, we had Arthur Farrell, Bobby Elliott and Lee Carsley, and they had a photograph of nearly every player that came through that door. And then we had like a merch table, and then a photographer there that would take individual ones. But Lee Carsley come up to me and he went, "Hayley, this is brilliant what you're doing." And he went, "And it's really special." And ever since, I always WhatsApp him. So we had presentation night. He couldn't make it, but he sent a signed shirt from the Euro under 21 champions. He sent a signed shirt for us to raise some money with. And then I messaged him about the tournament. But he's obviously heading to Germany with the England squad. So he was like, "Hey, I can't come." And I went, "No, you're busy, that's fine." And his last message to me was, "Hey, keep doing what you're doing. The 3Cs was a massive part of my life. And don't underestimate what you and the guys are giving them kids. They will remember this for their whole life." And I just thought that was really powerful from someone who's now managing the next generation of England stars to come and tell us, people from Chelmsley Wood, who are giving up our time for these kids.
I think he's absolutely correct, because, you know, all kids, no matter what level that you play at or you get to play at, you start somewhere. And like with Lee, it was at the 3Cs. In that iconic kit, you still wear the iconic green and white. Do you still sing the old song, "It's a Grand Old Team," as well? Because that gets the hairs on your arms standing up when the boys are in the dressing room and they start singing that.
So Arthur came to our bless his heart, we lost Arthur in January, our great founder. But last year he did come to our presentation night, and he did sing the song, and everyone was like, "What's that?" And we was like, "We can't be having that anymore." Do you know what I mean? We need everybody to know this song. And then lo and behold, we lost him. So then I had to get up 3 nights in a row and sing the song on the stage at the Seas. But more and more people now know the song, and it's great to see, because I mean, my brother used to live for that of a Sunday afternoon. We used to go back with the teams, and the Seas was absolutely packed out. You couldn't get a seat in it, and all the kids would stand by the stage waiting for Arthur to get up with his stick and start the song, and he'd bring 2 lads up. One would have to be the one crossing the ball, and one would be the other one putting it in the net. And they used to be begging to be the ones that actually went up on the stage to him. So it is something we are trying to get back. And when just before he passed, we did do, I'll have to share it with you, Paul. Each team did like a sentence out of the song, and we made it into the full song. So every team in the club was singing the song basically for him. And while he was in hospital, they played it to him, just to show like what he means to us really, and what he will always mean to this club.
I think that's the thing, you know, you never forget your foundations. You never forget those people that laid them foundations, because the 3Cs are built on that. And you've got great links to, like, England's under 21s. You've got links with the likes of Troy, to the Trooper, the Super Trooper, as you've alluded to, champions, Sunday League champions. And I've seen a few posts, and there's a few faces that are recognised from there as well. So your green and white shirts, your kids that are playing small-sided, do they all play in the green and white from small-sided, from girls all the way up to your under-16s?
Yeah. So the only team that doesn't is our mini kickers, our under-5s. We just get them a little training kit, because it is quite an expensive kit, Paul, the one we have. Because that was the one thing I did. I standardised the kit. Before, we was having people going and getting all different makes of it. Do you know what I mean? And even some had zigzags on, and I was like, we're green and white hoops. That is what we are. You know, when we turn up, people know you're the 3Cs from the green and white hoops. So I went out and sourced what kit I wanted, and now that's the rules. If people get a sponsor, they have to order the home kit from our supplier, and everyone has the same one. Away kits, I say, I don't care. You can have whatever colour you like, but you have to have this make of the hoops.
Absolutely, it's got to be uniform, because as soon as you see that, you think of the 3Cs. Because I don't recall many other teams, like junior kids teams, wearing that iconic shirt.
No, I mean, the only one that's popped up is Holly Lane. Holly
Okay.
Lane wear them, yeah. That's the only one I know locally that wear the green and white. And Linden Colts are a small grassroots football. They have green and white as well. But like I say, if you see green and white in any pictures around this area, everyone automatically goes, it's the C's, you know, because it is that iconic.
Absolutely. Going back to training and coaches, etc., and managers, kids can't have the ball now. Is that something that's been brought in and you have to adhere to? How's that changed the dynamics of football? It's not going to with a small-sided, but certainly when they get to under 11s, you know, you get the old wingers running down, or they used to get wingers running down the line, as you alluded to there. Someone crosses the ball and someone knocks it in, but you can't you can't knock it in with your head no more, can you?
No, and they've banned throw-ins, Paul.
I believe so. You got to kick it in, haven't you?
They're not allowed to do. You've got to do a kick in now because it can't be in the air for anyone to header. It's hard. I'm old school. I am, and I loved headering a ball. That was one of my strongest attributes to my game. And I think, you know what, you're taking that away from some players. They might not have the technical ability that some might have, but you know what, they can defend and they can head a ball and clear the lines. And it's sort of, I find it a shame because, again, I feel like we're just going a bit backwards, and then you're going to get to a certain age and we've got kids who have never headed a ball. You know, and yet you're going to want them to be in a team, like you say, where you're asking your wingers to cross it in, you're putting corners in, that kind of, I just find it a bit madness in this day and age, to be honest, to be able to just switch it like that, or just start it from under fives, so they know no different. Do you know what I mean? But if you're playing at the moment, you just carry on until you finish, and then every team that comes in now, you bring in them rules. But to tell an under 10s team, so the under 9s, are going to under 10s, they'll have one season of kick-ins and then they're back to normal throw-ins. It just seems a bit backwards.
I think a lot of football is quite backwards. We jump on something and want to change everything. It's like the offside rule. I mean, I don't know what offside is, and I don't know what handball is these days. I mean, as a junior club, that must cause untold arguments on the touchline. It's bad enough at the best of time with some teams and some parents, but that must just add to it.
Yeah, definitely. And when they can't even get it right at the elite stage, you know, how on earth is it going to be right at grassroots? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a topic of down the pub, have a laugh at, really.
Absolutely. But again, the game has changed. Fundamentally, it hasn't changed at all. But now, do all the coaches so if anybody wants to come in and manage a 3Cs team, what level of coaching do they need to have?
So technically, they don't need any level of coaching.
Okay.
The three basic things they need is a clean DBS, a first aid qualification, and the FA's first aid qualification, and the FA's safeguarding children. They're the three main ones. For your club to be affiliated, though, and get accreditation, you do have to have one member of the management team having like an introduction to coaching. They've got a few levels now, so you've got introduction to, it used to be level 1, level 2, that kind of stuff, but now it's introduction to football. You've got the BT Playmaker. UEFA C now, I think, has replaced the level 2. So it's all changed, but yeah, to get the accreditations, you do have to have at least one member. And as a club, we're very forthcoming in paying for people to do that. This year, we had one of our managers apply for the UEFA B, and we said we'd contribute half of your cost to that.
Because they ain't cheap, are they?
No, I think it was £1,500 it was for the UEFA B. And Sean runs our under 8s at the moment, and Sean said, would you pay half? And I went, if you sign a bit of paper and say that you will see your under 8s through to under 16s, I have no problem in paying you half, mate, because we'll get more than that back off you. over them years, and he was happy to do that because he said, I'm sticking with them anyway. So that was all fine to him. But we are a club. So this year we put 3 of our under 15s through the referees course because we were sick of not getting refs. So we said, you know what, we'll pay for some of our players to go and do that course. So 3 of them went off and done it, and now they're the ones that are allocated to our little under 7s and 8s, and they're reffing them before their game. That's on the other side, on the other pitch at John Henry Newman. And Jack, bless his heart, we nominated Jack for a referees recognition award, and he went to Wembley yesterday and won the club recognition award for referees. So it's just great that we're just, we're growing our own now, that kind of stuff.
Because again, referees, it was always a nightmare in my day. It must be an absolute right ball ache these days trying to get hold of a referee. Rocking horse shit, ain't they?
They are. And to be honest, Paul, I understand why. Why would you want to put yourself through that? Do you know what I mean? The abuse you get, it's one of the things that I'm really strict on, that nobody should be even opening their mouths to a referee, because without them the game doesn't go ahead.
Correct.
So I'm really strict on that, and it's something I'm passionate about, and it's something that we're going to follow through as a club. So every time a team reaches under 15s, we will put certain players through their courses to be able to just give back and earn a bit of money for themselves. So no, it's a job I wouldn't want to do. I'd rather be chairman of 5 clubs than referee one game, to be honest.
I think I'd rather sit there and have pins stuck in my eyes than be a referee, if I'm honest.
That's it, yeah.
Birmingham County FA, what's their involvement with the clubs these days? Because you can have different levels of stamps, isn't it, really, that they'll say, you're a foundation club, you're a this club, you're a that club, or they certainly did in my day. Is it different today? They have different charters, don't they?
Yeah, so it was the chartered standard. It's now accreditation now, and you can either have 1-star, 2-star and 3-star, and it all depends on what pathways you can develop in. So we're a 1-star, so that means we've got a boys team from the ages of 7 to 16 as such, and you get 1 star for that. We've now got the girls teams, but in order to get a 2-star, I've got to have a girls within the 15 to 16 bracket, which I haven't got yet, do you know what I mean? Because we're starting them off young.
Yeah.
And then the 3rd star is your men's and your women's team, basically. You can go on, but this also includes disability football, which is something that we are planning on bringing to the seas. We are going to look at some disability football, and so we're just fully inclusive for everybody in our area. There's no child that's left out. I mean, especially my son Bobby, he's disabled, and he wouldn't be interested at the moment. Do you know what I mean? He can't stand it. He just wants to run on the pitch and be a hooligan. But it is something that I'm thinking, you know what, we've got a lot of children with learning disabilities now in this day and age, and autism. The percentage is a lot higher, and the severity of it is a lot more. So it is something that we are looking into. Once we've embedded all the girls teams, we are looking at a disability team. But I don't think we'll ever get to 3-star, because I don't want to do the adult side of it. I want to do just the kids. So yeah, we're not really, just as long as we get our 1-star and we're accredited and we can put that next to our badge, we're not one of these clubs that want to show off with 3 stars as such. We just want to make sure what we're doing is right now, and good for the kids, basically.
Absolutely. Your socials are very important. So let's have your social media if people want to get in touch with the 3Cs. And also the groups, because there's a lot of kids groups, isn't there, football groups on social media where you can put posts in, and if you're looking for a goalkeeper, for instance, if you're looking for different teams need different players, it's very good. In our day, it was like, who's your mate at school? And you bring him. Well, if you can't kick a ball properly, you go in goal. We used to do things in analog in our days, but it's very different now. It's digital.
Yeah, so we've got our own Facebook page. It's called CCC Football. That we're constantly posting on. It is a private group, so you have to answer a few questions to be able to get in. But that way we can advertise for players within our own group as such, because what we're finding is now, Paul, like back in the day, people have got a kid who plays for the under-10s, a daughter who plays for the under-7s. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're constantly now getting new players in and gone, hang on a minute, his brother's 5. Have you got a team for him? So we do get a lot of that come through that. We have our email address, which everybody can email, which is cccfootball@outlook.com. But we tend to use a lot of like you say, the B37 updates on Facebook, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We post a lot onto there, Castle Bromwich ones, all the surrounding areas, just advertising for players, hoping just that, even if that one kid sees it and comes along to a session and enjoys it, that it's done its job then.
And the school, the intake to play for, say the under-8s, it has to be the school year now, doesn't it, of what those under-8s are, whether it be, I don't know, year 3, year 4. My maths isn't very good, and it's a long time since I was at school, or my youngest daughter now is leaving school. But in our day, you had to be say 7 years of age till a certain date. So there were a number of kids that if you were the youngest in the next age group, you could play the year below. You can't do that now, can you?
No. So it is just the year groups now, and I'm like you, Paul, I'm old school. So when people go, he's in year 7, have you got a team? I have to count out, I have to go 5, 6, I have to count it all out. Whereas I'm old school, and I go, right, from September, what age is he turning in that school year? And she'll go, oh, he'll be 9 in October, and I go, right, he's under 9s, then he's the under 9s number. So yeah, it's a real hassle working it out with school years. But yeah, you are correct, it is the school years, and it's whatever age they're turning within that year that's what team they're in. So if they're turning 7, they're under 7s, turning 8, under 8s.
And it's the whole of the school year, bit different to what it used to be in our day. Also, there was a great little series on recently, This Town, about Scar and growing up in Chelmsley Wood in the 80s. Has that had any effect to the 3Cs? I mean, certainly the Trooper. I've seen the Happy Trooper there, and I'm guessing they had a little bit of kind of fallout from that.
Yeah, no, we haven't felt anything from it, to be honest, Paul. Like I say, I think we were all glued wanting to see the Happy Trooper, because I've heard my mum and dad used to permanently live there before I came along, I think. And it was nice when I heard, they're doing a pub about it, to finally see where they were all weekend before I was born. But no, we didn't really see an impact of it from the seaside.
I mean, it was one hell of an iconic pub in Chelmsley Wood. I was never brave enough to go into the Happy Trooper, but I know lots of them that did. But the fallout that I got from it, or people would go on social media and comment, and it's almost as though they thought that it was a documentary, like they think Peaky Blinders is a documentary. It's a figment of somebody's imagination.
That's it.
And it doesn't have to exist these days, kids, but it is written by the great Stephen Knight. And, This Town was, I think, a great series, and I think it really portrayed Chelmsley Wood in a positive manner, unlike certain other things that they've done in Chelmsley Wood that haven't been perceived in the same positive vibe. Hayley, it's been an absolute pleasure. I think we've covered a lot of ground. Is there anything that you would like to talk about that we haven't? And I'm going to leave the final word to you.
No, but I think we've covered everything. I've had a right trip down memory lane, to be honest. Fixed odds and going back to the seas, and all that kind of stuff. But no, I'd just like to finish on that the seas are back. We're hoping to be the great club we was once again. We've got fantastic managers that are coming in now, a fantastic committee, and every single one of them want to benefit the children of Chelmsley Wood and surrounding areas. So if anybody's got any child in their family that wants to even try football or come along, we are there for them, and we don't say no to kids. Even if we haven't got room in our teams, you can still come and train. You can still come and put your boots on and feel part of a team and a community, and that's what we're about.
Absolutely. That was a fantastic way. I always say finish on a good one, and you can't get any better than that, Hayley. That's absolutely super. By the way, where did Moggy come from?
So my dad's John Morgan. So
Okay.
yeah, so they were all called Moggy. There was Lee Morgan, John Morgan, so all of them. So I just got the nickname Moggy as well. So, so yeah, just a family thing.
Fair play. I thought it was after a cat.
Yeah, probably was, but for one of them back in the day.
Well, one of the lads that I do a podcast with, his mum's name was Mog. He used to his dad used to call him Mog. I said, "How's that, Al?" He said, "I don't know, but behind every successful man, there's a cat."
I'll take that, Paul, all day long.
Absolutely. Cheers, mate. Speak soon, and to say anything I can do to be of any help to the Free Seas, just give us a shout.
No, appreciate your time, Paul, and I'll see you soon. You're going to pop down Saturday?
I'm working. I work every Saturday these days now. But I know Jack's getting quite excited, and
he's on the ceiling, mate.
Yeah.
I've had messages off him saying, I can't wait for Saturday.
Yeah, little Jude's practicing in his garden as well, so bless him. But I definitely,
But that's a great thing, I think, Paul. If you look at our managers now, if you was to come to a managers meeting, more than half are ex-players.
Yeah.
So they're coming back, they're coming back to us. They know what the old days were like and where we're trying to get. And that's what we want. That the likes of Jack is perfect examples of what we need in our club. Someone there for the right reasons.
Absolutely.
So
I will be there. I'll be there in spirit, not in person Saturday, but I definitely will be on the touchline on a number of Sundays, watching the Seas like
I'll have to pop down
years ago.
and just say hello then, mate, when you're there.
Absolutely, I'll buy you a beer.
That's a deal.
Okay then, mate.
All right then, Paul.
Thanks for your time and good luck to everyone. Bye-bye now. Bye, Hayley. Bye-bye. Okay, give us a song then to finish on.
Let me get outside where I've got better signal. Right, we ready?
Yeah, go on, Moggy, give us a song.
We don't care if we win or lose or draw. It's all the same to us. 'Cause for all we know that there's gonna be a show and the good old Free Seas will be there. So before the match was over, before the whistle blew, your man got the ball and up the wing he threw. He crossed it into Paul and in the net it flew. Another goal for Free Seas before the whistle blew. It's a rare old team to play for. It's a rare old team to know. If you only know your history, it's enough to make your hearts go, whoa. We don't care if we win or lose or draw. It's all the same to us. 'Cause for all we know that there's gonna be a show and the good old Free Seas will be there. So follow 'em up. That's the way to win the cup.
Superb.
Jesus, my neighbours must think I'm Barney in the garden just singing.
Whether you're a morning person or a bedtime procrastinator, everyone deserves a mattress that works for their style. And you'll find the best mattress for you at Ashley. The new Temper-Adapt collection at Ashley brings you one-of-a-kind body-conforming technology, making every sleep tailored to be your best.